Live from Fargo and serving you on TV, online, and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 5.
New for you now at 5. A West Fargo man is in jail after allegedly leaving his 13-month-old in an unlocked vehicle with the windows rolled up. 22-year-old Robert Henson was arrested for child neglect when a Good Samaritan safely removed the child from the vehicle outside of West Acres Mall. Police say in just 10 minutes, the car can heat up by 20 degrees, enough to kill a child left alone in a vehicle. New information tonight. A Red Lake man has been sentenced to 22 years in prison after pleading guilty to second-degree murder. Officials say 18-year-old Michael Wayne Whitefeather was sentenced to 22 years in prison today after pleading guilty to second-degree murder back in December. Prosecutors say in April of 2018, Whitefeather and several gang members were driving around the Red Lake Indian Reservation looking for rival gang members. Court documents state Whitefeather left his car, grabbed a shotgun, chased the victim on foot, assaulted him, and then shot him in the face. The Moorhead Police Department is asking for your help finding a suspect involved in a hit and run that injured a woman in May. The suspect's vehicle is described as a small white van with potential damage to the driver's side, front fender, or hood. The vehicle was last seen at the intersection of 36th Street South and 28th Avenue South. If you have any information, contact Moorhead Police at this phone number, 218-299-5126. Grand Forks Police are asking for your help finding 30-year-old Charles Rodriguez. Rodriguez has 3 warrants for his arrest after fleeing a peace officer and failing to register as an offender in Grand Forks. He was last seen during his release from the Cass County Jail. If you have any information, contact Grand Forks Police at 787-8000. It is nice when we don't have to worry about the weather. Today is one of those days. Let's find out how the evening is shaping up with Hutch in your No Wait weather. Hutch?
Well, it's a sizzler out there with the warmest temperatures in the Southern Valley and southern Minnesota with numerous 80s to low 90s, and we have subtly cooler temperatures up to the north. The radar shows a cluster of thunder showers exiting from the Grant County area in Alexandria, heading to southern and central Minnesota. Tonight, plan for very quiet conditions. We'll be in the 80s all the way through 8 o'clock. It stays quiet all night, so perfect to get out, but it will be on the warm side. Likewise, lower 80s in Grand Forks until 9 o'clock. Now, we do have some changes in our forecast that begin on Friday. I'll have details on some thunder that will take us into the weekend and a cold stretch after that. We'll have the details in a few moments.
All right. Thank you, Hutch. Bad news for robocalls. The Federal Communications Commission is making it easier for phone companies to block them. Valley News Team's Rose Itzkovitz has more on what the FCC's ruling means for you and the phone companies.
Something like 408, 605.
Cricket sales associate Lenny Elanese says he gets about 10 robocalls a day.
It tends to get a little bit annoying, but just decline it and don't have to worry about it anymore.
Robocalls may outnumber Elanese's regular calls, but his days of declining may be numbered. A new FCC ruling says carriers can block unwanted robocalls before they even reach us consumers.
This is the top consumer complaint the FCC receives every year. Over 60% of the complaints that we receive from consumers each and every year are about unwanted calls.
Elanese says so far AT&T, Cricket's parent company, has ways to block robocalls, but the calls sometimes prevail.
They make apps every single day that take your number. We're in a day and age where everything's evolving.
Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar says disdain for the calls is something uniting both major parties, and the ruling is long overdue.
This is an outrageous situation. We've literally seen a doubling of robocalls in Minnesota, and I'm sure it's similar in North Dakota, in just the last few years.
UMail data shows nearly 5 billion robocalls placed in the month of May alone. The FCC so far thinks carriers will be able to offer the service to consumers for free.
That's a good selling point.
And Elanese says it might make selling phones easier for him.
I think it would just be an easier pitch, and along with, getting the Cricket Protect and stuff like that.
In Fargo, Rose Itzkovitz, Valley News Live.
The FCC says the blocking service will likely be optional, as some people may want to see everyone calling them. An Isanti man is in the hospital after rolling his ATV last night in Bacchus, Minnesota. 40-year-old Ryan Mayer was driving on the Snowway 1 trail in the Foothills State Forest when he lost control and crashed his ATV around 8 p.m. Maher was treated on scene for serious injuries and then later airlifted to the hospital for further treatment. Grand Forks officials say 180 drivers in the city were given citations for speeding during the nationwide 2019 Click It or Ticket campaign. The department says at least 15 extra 5-hour shifts were worked by officers during the campaign. Their primary mission was looking for seatbelt and child restraint violations, as well as to spread the message that seatbelts save lives. Officers issued 31 citations for seatbelt violations, 2 citations for driving with a suspended license, and 11 citations for non-criminal traffic violations. Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar emphasized the need to win in the Midwest while in Fargo earlier today, campaigning on her presidency run. Senator Heidi Heitkamp and Moorhead Mayor Jonathan Judd joined a large crowd of supporters in downtown Fargo to welcome her.
This time, if I am leading this ticket, we are not going to leave the Midwest behind. You have to understand and be willing to talk about rural issues. And it is not just about the Farm Bill. You all know that. It is about all kinds of things if we want to keep our rural areas strong.
Klobuchar says her work across the aisle is one reason a Vanderbilt study named her the most effective Democratic senator. That is, she says, after Heitkamp left office. Klobuchar compared the strong FM community to what she calls fracturing behavior from President Trump.
He does it when he wakes up in the morning and sends the tweets and goes after immigrants. He does it when he goes after people in his own political party that don't agree with him.
Klobuchar declined taking questions from the press before heading to her next stop in Duluth, Minnesota.
There are people who absolutely, for whatever reason, can't be unmedicated for a period of time at least. And to say that just exercising is going to help them is a little foolish.
A new study from the University of Vermont suggests exercise should be prescribed to mental health patients before any type of drugs are, prompting Valley News Live's crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley to talk with those affected by mental health issues, as well as experts, to see what they think.
Janet Bechtold has struggled with her mental health since she was 12 and has been medicated ever since her suicide attempt when she was 18.
It's hard to imagine how I would have come back from that without it.
She says she would have been frustrated if doctors would have held off on prescribing her any meds and instead told her to try out exercising first.
People with depression, most of the time, it's hard to get out of bed most days. How are you going to tell them, oh yeah, go exercise? Maybe they can start little and work up to it, but to expect someone who is seriously depressed to just get up there and start running for an hour a day, that's not practical.
She says exercise and good habits are important, but says it's not always that easy.
They might need the medication to be able to start exercising and making those healthy choices, and then maybe they can be off the medication. Maybe they need to be on it forever. Everyone's different. Everyone has a different mental health situation. And so yes, exercise can help some people. Some people need more.
And experts at Prairie St. John's agree, saying they educate their patients on the importance of lifestyle changes when it comes to tackling mental health issues.
Treating with exercise, diet, medication, and then also therapy. Therapy is a huge piece of treating depression.
Richter adds that the study's approach to exercise before meds might be best for minor mental health issues, like the winter blues.
I do think that we are over-prescribing antidepressants because people want a quick fix. And exercise isn't necessarily a quick fix, but the benefits of exercise totally outweigh taking an antidepressant.
In Fargo, Bailey Hurley, Valley News Live.
Experts say 20 minutes of exercise is equal to 10 milligrams of an antidepressant. To see the full study, head to our website and click on this story. A celebration at United Way today for those taking part in this year's 35 Under 35 Women's Leadership Program. Organizers say since January, the participants have been meeting monthly to discuss and focus on various issues relevant to young leaders. Over 200 people were in attendance today, including the mentors, supervisors, family, and friends of the women involved in the program.
The celebration itself is just getting through the program, and it's celebrating our growth, not just getting through the program, because anybody could sit in that chair, but it's what you put into it is what you get out.
The United Way says since its launch in 2009, over 385 women will have graduated from the 35 Under 35 Women's Leadership Program. They represent various industries, including business, nonprofit, higher education, health, and technology, among others. Those long lines outside Target Field are about to change. Due to the success of the Minnesota Twins this season, the ball club has been convinced to change its security screening policy. Starting when the Twins return home for their next homestand on June 11th, fans will be able to enter Target Field without emptying their pockets. Screening technology has been updated to recognize common items like cell phones, keys, wallets, and change, while still detecting firearms and other larger metal objects. This detection setting has been successfully upgraded at other professional stadiums across the country. Today marks the 75th anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Nazi-occupied northern France by Allied forces. How those World War II veterans are being remembered today, still ahead.
And our sizzling stretch of summer-like weather continues today. We'll see more summer-like conditions tomorrow, but changes as we head into the weekend. I'll detail all of that coming up right after this.
You're watching Valley